I love Draco in this. He's a man of many words. Man doesn't say anything, he does everything. And even though Draco played the piano in this, his music or instrumental, the writing from this author is lyrical. Friends, how are you? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. I realized that I have never actually introduced myself on here before. So my name is V, just like the letter, and I am a graduate student. I am trying my best to graduate in May. That is in 1 month, and if that happens, it means that I will have a lot of time on my hand and a lot of content flowing your way. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so in the description box down below. And today we are talking about my favorite dramione one-shots. One-shots are my favorite way to get out of a reading slump. I read them a lot whenever I don't feel like reading anything because they are small, they're easy to consume, and I kind of read them in between bigger story as well as like a palette cleaner. But just because they seems to be like a one and done type of deal doesn't mean that they are not of quality. Some of the story that I will share with you today has lived in my head rent-free ever since I finished them. This amount of story that I will share in this video is nowhere near cover the entire amount of favorite one-shots that I want to share with you guys, because I do actually read a lot of them. So if you guys want a part 2 to this video, please go ahead and comment down below and I will make the video. Now that we have gone everything out of the way, let's start with my top 12 favorite dramione one-shots. So first, we will start with my number 1 favorite, In Reverse by To Eat a Peach. And I think I have already mentioned in one of my previous videos that To Eat a Peach is the author of my favorite one-shot of all time, and this is it. This is a story, just as the title suggests, go back in time. So we start with the present and go back to the start of their story every year on Hermione's birthday, because this is a story where Draco tried and failed to give Hermione a happy birthday over the year. And I don't know if there's a word or a definition or a trope or this format of fic where we get to see their story in little snippet or cap cuts over the year on like a special occasion or a special day, because I really love this trope or format, and I have read a lot of them. Actually, I think I can actually make an entire video on just this type of format or trope of story alone. But anyway, this is one of the fluffy story that make you feel so warm and cozy after reading it. I love everything about it, and I love Draco line, and I'm gonna use it to describe this fic. Damn right, it is my favorite fic of all time for one-shots. Next, we have Best Shot by Akio Miyanier, and you guys may have heard about this author before because they are the one who wrote Until the Ink Run Dry and the sequel that I have shared in one of my previous videos before. And truly, this author is just super talented. Best Shot is, in my opinion, the best 8-year story out there. Even though this is a one-shot, it has more than 20,000 words, so it can classify as a short story. This story is an 8-year story featuring Hermione. She's just fresh out of the war, back at Hogwarts, trying to navigate her life, trying to work out her relationship with Ron Weasley, when she got an unexpected visit from her future self. Hermione in the future comes back to Hogwarts, visit her, and tell her that she have got 3 days to change things, and if she doesn't do anything, then her husband Draco Malfoy will die in the future. And this story is just a galore for someone like me who is a sucker for their moments or like the interaction between them, because they are so damn tender, so soft in this. And Draco is super compassionate. He is a little bit reserved. He doesn't talk a lot, but he's actually care deeply about Hermione. This is truly the definition of pining Draco. If you would like to read something that has a little bit more plot, a little bit more drama, and a little bit of mystery from all the time traveling, then please go ahead and read One Shot. It is perfect, and I really love their moments in it. I think I have memorized so many of them in here. Next, we have Out of Mind by Galfoy. Again, Galfoy is my favorite dramione author. I have said it in both of my dramione videos before, and it doesn't surprise anyone that I have a one-shot favorite by her in this list. And Out of Mind is a story where Hermione owns a bookstore, and one day she got a unexpected visit again by someone from her past, someone that she didn't expect to be there, someone who was supposed to be in prison, and that is Draco Malfoy. So this is a mind-blowing plot twisted story that start out so simple, start out so soft, so you know, it's just a regular story, and then bam, it explodes into something that I would have never thought of. And it gives me the same feelings when I read One of the Monster by Galfoy. It just, how can you write such masterpiece, and how can I get to read these for free? And this characterization of Draco in here is perfect in my opinion. I love him in this, and I also love Hermione in this as well. I love all of Malfoy characterization, and I think that if you haven't read any of her work, please go ahead and give it a shot. I would recommend the top 3. If you want to start out with something shorter, you can read one out of mine, this one shot. If you want something middle length, you can read one of the monster. I have already reviewed them in the previous video. And if you want to read something long by her, she has statics. Next, we have a story that I do not know how to pronounce the title nor the author, so please excuse me. I think it is Dramione by Bennett did it. Dramione by Bennett did it. This is an emotional story told in Draco's point of view. It kind of feels like you are reading his diary or his autobiography. It starts out with his childhood, and then it goes through the war and his post-war life, but one common denominator in all of the stages of his life is his piano. He's a piano player in this. He loves it, and it's kind of like his escape or his coping mechanism. So if you would like to read a borderline depressed Draco where he plays piano as like a mean to protect himself, then please go ahead and read this. I love Draco in this. I think the characterization in here is what I would expect him to be post-war, a little bit isolated, a little bit reserved, doesn't socialize with anyone, and bam, in go the sunshine. So if you like something more in like the grumpy sunshine trope, I think this is definitely for you. And even though Draco played the piano in this, his music or instrumental, the writing from this author is lyrical. So please go ahead and read this, and I would recommend you to have a playlist in the background, piano playlist, and read and listen to the song when it comes to the part. You will know what song I'm talking about if you read this work. Next, we have Between Pages by Dark of the Moon, and Dark of the Moon is one of my favorite dramione author. Between Pages is a story where Hermione and Draco start out as a partner in a books exchange program in the first year at Hogwarts, and they continue to be secret pen pal over the years. So this story is in the exact same format with the first story in reverse that I've talked to you about, and I've told you that this is my favorite format of one shot to read, so it's no surprise that I really like Between the Pages. Like I say, Dark of the Moon was my favorite dramione author, and I love the way she writes, and I think the writing reminds me a lot of Madeline Miller. It's super beautiful, the details are well thought, and the interaction between them are just super tender, right? It melts my heart. So if you haven't read any Dark of the Moon work, please go ahead and do so. You can start out with a lot of one-shots. She has a collection of one-shots that I marathon through. She also has longer novel length story and also a short story as well, and all of them beautifully written, well developed characterization. Next, we have Bits of Rocks and Dust by Purple Sugar Quill. This is a story where they are co-workers and they are idiots in love, and they are clearly both pining for each other, but none of them has the heart to admit it. This story features a very childish and drama queen Draco that it gives the reading experience so much fun. I also love the representation of his friend group in here, because I feel like there are not a lot of stories out there with his Slytherin friend being supportive of his choice of lover. Anyway, I don't know how to describe this story, but I just remember that I love it really much, and I have reread it many times. I love the writing. The writing in here is phenomenal. It's beautiful, and the characterization is on point. So if you want a idiot in love, co-workers type of story, please go ahead and give this a go. Next, we actually have a two shots, and it is in A Certain Sense of Synergy by Skeeter. The first one shot is titled Commit This to Memory. It is told from Draco's point of view, and the second one is Soft Without Sound, and we get to see that one in Hermione's point of view. So the Draco one shot, the first chapter, I would say it's written in second person point of view, and I think that it is the perfect choice to tell Draco's story. In this story, we see a Draco who is very aware of his crime and his status in the society, and he kind of accepts that he's, you know, what people believe him to be, someone who is not worthy of being loved or cared for, who is not worthy of second thoughts even. And then in come our Saint Hermione Granger, but instead of making her seems like a savior of his world, it's when we get to see the second chapter in her point of view, we get to see how vulnerable she actually is, how much being in the spotlight actually put a toll on her, and how much the healings for him actually heal her as well. So I feel like this is one of the stories where they both believe that I do not deserve the other person, and they deserve the world and all the happiness and all the love in this world, when both of them deserve so much more, and they love each other so raw and so truly, so deeply, that I really love this both of these one shots, and I have reread it many times. And the writing, next we have Familiar Places, Worn Out Faces by Love Pizza A. Oh my god, I just have a tongue twister reading that title. This is a story where Draco is a healer and Hermione is an aura, but she recently lost her memory in an accident, so she doesn't have any memory of her past life, who Draco is, who Ron is, who Harry is. So she's kind of like has a fresh start in all of her thoughts and feelings from that point on. I believe this is the most well-known and most recommended dramione one-shot out there, and it doesn't disappoint. When you start reading it, then you will start understanding the hype around this story. I love the writing in this. It's super beautiful, it's superb, it just got tears. And the characterization, I love Draco in this. He's the man of many words. Man doesn't say anything, he does everything. And Hermione is super shameless, super raw and real in this story, so I love them both for it. And this is one of the one shot that make you crave some more after you read it. Next we have Flavor Names and Color Sound by Pink Panda. This is a 2-chapter story, but I feel like it can classify as a one shot. In this story, Draco suffers from synesthesia. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Excuse me if I said it wrong. Anyway, it's the medical condition that allow him to taste the word that he said and see color, or like associate sound with color. So the storyline of this is actually very similar to Divinity Red that I have just shared with you guys a couple minutes ago. So we follow him through his childhood, through the war, when he defects to the Order of the Phoenix, and you know, post-war, and how he interacts with Hermione you know, throughout the timeline of the story. And I just feel like this is the most beautifully written one-shot out there. I know that I have said the beautifully written word a lot in all of my videos to describe all of these stories, but I just feel super grateful for the authors for giving the story to us super well written for free. And I recently discovered that this author is actually not a native English speaker, and the work that she put out, just mind-blowing. Next we have Under the Wing of Shadow by Akio Miyane. And can I hate any of the Akio Miyane work? No. Again, this is an 8th year at Hogwarts story where they come back from the war and got assigned a roommate. So Draco and Hermione was each other's roommates, so they share a quarter, and from there we see their story evolve. I love Draco in this. He's witty, he's snarky, but it's actually super sweet and super soft. And I just cannot with the way Akio Miyane write the interactions of the moment between Draco and Hermione. It's super tender, it melts my heart, from Until the England Rise to Best Shot to Under the Wing of Shadow, or Chef Kiss. And how can a person write so many interactions between them and it was never repetitive? Because I read Betrayed by Emily Henry, and to be honest with you, the moments in there are nowhere near the level of Dramione's fanfiction author. So please go ahead and read any one of the Akio Miyane work. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Next, we are nearly at the end now, but we have The Intricacy of Marriage by Croissant. This is a story, marriage law story, where they try to kill off each other because they cannot stand each other. So I feel like this is a marriage law story that is super unique, and you cannot find this plot anywhere out there. They actually invent a new love language in this story, trying to off each other as their love language. So I feel like this is a super short story, only about 4,200 words long, but it dives so deep into their story. It plays with humor, but actually the deep down feelings that they feel for each other. I love how they try to kill each other every day, but they actually really understand the other person, really care for and love the other person. So if you want something quick but it's not one-dimensional, please go ahead and read this story. Next, we have Rhythm and Sea by Another Lonely Rider, and this is another very beautifully written story, laced with the story of the Beauty and the Beast. So throughout the story, you will see snippets of the fairy tale and back to the snippet of them. And the art in this is also super beautiful. This is again another close proximity or forced relationship type of story, because in this story, Ron and Pansy were getting married and they choose their best friend as the wedding assistant. And there we have Draco and Hermione working together to help their best friend wedding. And that's it, no more than that, okay? I think this story is super sweet. I love the format of the story in a non-linear timeline. I love how Narcissa Malfoy and their children were also involved in the story. I just feel like it's like a walk down the memory lane type of story, which makes you feel super fulfilled, super happy after reading it. So I would definitely read this story and any other one-shot that Another Lonely Rider can offer. So that is the end of my top 12 favorite dramione of all time, and I had a really hard time containing it down to the number 12 because I just don't want to make the video super long. But if you want a part 2, please go ahead and comment it down below. I would gladly provide it for you guys, because I feel like writing one shot is even more challenging than longer story, because you only have so much to extract all the feelings, to develop all the plot. But these authors have done a superb, a god tier job. So please go ahead and read their story and drop them some love after you are done, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.